Hi there everybody, my name is Ali and today we will be going to do task 7 from TryHackMe-Nahamstore, which will be regarding IDOR, which is Indirect Object Reference. In this attack, what we can do is change the user ID of one user to the user ID of another user to access the data of other user. So for example, there is a user A who has registered on the website and his user ID is 1234. Now, if we intercept the request of this user A and change the user ID to 1235, which is the next ID in this order, and if the web application shows the data of another user who has user ID of 1235, then there is an IDOR vulnerability. So today we will be seeing different techniques to see where to look for IDOR, how to find them and how to exploit them. And then in the end we will use BurpSuite extension called Autorize to automate the process of finding IDORs. So that being said, let's jump in. I already have started my machine and my IP address is 10.10.165.118. So I will come again to task 7, which is IDOR, and again as always I will solve all of these questions at the end. First of all, I will go to the web application and I will see all of the techniques. I will show you all of the techniques to see how to find IDORs, where to look for IDORs and how to exploit them, and then finally we will come here and solve these two questions. So first things first, I will come here and again I will go to nahamstore.thm. So and let's see what it shows us. Again we are having again the same page. This is a shopping website. So first thing first, if you want to find for IDORs, the very first thing is that you need to register first of all, because when you will register you will most probably get a user ID or any sort of cookie parameter or anything which is related to IDOR. So the very first thing which I will go and here do is I will register. So I will click on register here and I will type in test at test.com and then I will type in the password of test123456 and register. And now I am logged in. Now before doing anything, the very first thing which I will do is I will open my BurpSuite and I will set up some of the things. The first thing which I will set up into my BurpSuite is scope. So I will come here into my scope, I will click use advanced scope control, I will click on add and I will simply add Nahamstore here. So Nahamstore, and I will click on OK. So anything that is containing Nahamstore will get logged in. Then I will come to my proxy, my intercept will be off, click on re-enable, and then in my HTTP history here I will see all of the requests that are being generated. The very second thing after this, what I like to do is I always like to see the render functionality into my repeater. So there are a lot of errors which comes into play when you want to see this render functionality, but what I like to do is before doing anything I always go into user options, then I go into display and then I check this HTML rendering function, and then in my project options in my miscellaneous I come here and I check this allow embedded browser to run without a sandbox. So these two things must be checked to get the render functionality working. So now both of these things are done, and let's come back to our proxy HTTP history and let's come back to our website. Now I am already logged in. So if I refresh the page, and I need to set my proxy on here to BurpSuite. So if I set this proxy to BurpSuite, refresh the page again. Now if I come to my BurpSuite, now you can see the requests which are being made in the background. I can see right here. So a request is being made to JavaScript jQuery.main.js, then this one, and then Nahamstore, which is the main thing, which is get request onto the / directory, which is the root directory. So then from here we can see all of the requests. So I will now navigate into the website, but before seeing anything, I am logged in, but I am not having any sort of user ID. I am having a cookie parameter which is having my session and a token, and most probably the token will be the thing which will be having my session, because if I am not logged in I am logged out, and if I intercept the request I will get this session parameter again. So token is the parameter which is having my session, but again both of them combines and makes a cookie parameter. So right now I am not having any sort of user ID right here. So this is the thing which a lot of people make problem. So IDOs are not applicable on users, but they are also found on a lot of parameters which are in the website as well. So for example, if there is a shopping website, what you can do is you can go to the orders page and you can navigate into different orders. So for example, there is, like, let's say order number 4, so you can try to do a brute force attack right there and see whether you have order number 3, order number 2, order number 5, and if you can see the information of all of those orders, then you can you have most probably an IDOR vulnerability right here. So that's what I will be going to do right here, because I cannot see any sort of user ID. The other thing which I can do right here is I can copy this token and I can send this to decoder and I can decode this, but I don't, it looks like that I cannot decode this right one, or I don't know what sort of encoding is being done on this token parameter, because sometimes I have seen that some token parameter or cookie parameters are encoded in base 64, and if we decode them we are having our user ID. So again, we can manipulate those user IDs and look for IDOR. So now what I will do is I will come back to my browser, and now I will normally first of all see the application, how it behaves. I will try to understand the application and let's move on. So first thing first, I will click on this view button right here, which is sticker pack. And what I always like to look for IDOR is I like to look for ID parameter. But right now here you can see I am having an ID parameter, but again this ID parameter is not for any sort of user or any other thing, because I know this is a product endpoint and that product endpoint is having an ID parameter. So most probably this endpoint will be regarding products onto the shopping website. So this sticker pack is having a product ID of 2. So if I do 1, so right away you can see when I change the product ID from 2 to 1, I got hoodie plus T. So this is not a IDOR vulnerability, because this is meant for all unauthenticated users. Now IDOR is for authenticated and the places where the impact matters a lot. So this is not an IDOR vulnerability, but that's fine. We got hoodie plus T. Then what I will do is I will try to purchase this one. So add to basket, and it says item added to basket. And if I cannot see any more functionality right now, so if I click on this item right here, it says shopping basket, total $25. Please choose an address in your address book to send. And this time I am now on basket endpoint. That's fine. Then let's add an address. And I can see in the URL I am having redirect URI and nothing interesting still now. So first name I will do test, last name test, address as test as well, state test, and 1234 as zip code. Add an address, and again I am redirected to basket endpoint. Now again this was a post request, so I will analyze this in my BurpSuite. And if I click on my BurpSuite, you can see my all of the requests, all of the pages are being logged in. So I will come here and I will see whether I can see any sort of ID parameter or any parameter which might be vulnerable to IDOR. So first of all, let's click on this address which I added, and then it says you need to add your card number to make a payment. So let's do 1234, 1234, 1234 again, and 1234 again, and then make a payment. And now right here, this is the one where it looks like that I can try for some sort of IDOR vulnerability, because I can see onto my page, the very first thing which I can see is order ID right here. So it says order ID of 4. And in the URL I can also see there is a number which is 4. So it looks like that this is order number 4. And what I can do is if I can change the order number from 4 to 3, if I can see any other order details, then there is an IDOR vulnerability. So if I click on order number 3 and I am redirected to orders, that's fine. Let's come back again. So if I click on this order, there is only one order which is order number 4. But the strange thing is, which I am noticing right now, that where are order number 1, 2 and 3, because when I added an order I got order number 4. So the logically thinking is that I should get an order number 1. So it means that there are some sort of orders like order number 1, 2 and 3, and I am given an assigned an ID of order number 4. So but the problem is that if I do 1, I'm having nothing. If I do orders slash 2, again nothing, and slash 3, and again nothing. So if I do slash 4, and now I am having my order number 4 though. So this was strange, and I will look this again into my BurpSuite, and after that it says PDF received. So if I click on this one, let's see what happens. So it should give me a receipt in PDF, I believe, and yes, PDF generator, and here I am having a PDF and order number 4, and order ID again, there is a date, and that's all. So now let's come back to our burp suite and let's see what were the parameters which are interesting. So now I will look for those requests which are having some parameters. So this one, so I will first of all, the first one was product ID, and this one is having an ID parameter. I don't want this one because this is for products. This one again, this one again, and then this one is again having some parameters, and the parameter now this is having is added equals to 1. So I don't think so this will be again potential to IDOR vulnerability. So let's come back here to account, address book, and redirect URL to basket. This is having redirect URL parameter. Again, it doesn't look interesting. Then this one, and this one was having a lot of things. So new address title, new address name, first name, last name, new address, and nothing look interesting. Then I got to basket endpoint, post request to basket, and this one looks interesting because it is having an address ID of 5. So what is this one? So I will send this request to repeater, and let's see the response. So 200 okay, and again I like to see the render functionality. So if I click on render, first time it takes a lot of time, so let's wait for it. And right here I can see that it says shopping basket, your shopping basket is empty on address ID of 5. Now you can do manually as well, or you can use intruder functionality. So I will do address ID of 1. Let's see what it gives. Your shopping basket is empty. Address ID of 2. Shopping basket is empty. Now let me do a quick intruder attack right here. So I will send this request to intruder to do a brute force attack, and I will just simply do IDs of 1 to 15. So I will go here on position, clear all of the things. I want to do a brute force attack right here. Select this one, click on add, go to the payloads. I want to use 0 to 15. So I will simply select numbers from here from 0 to 15, and the step will be 1. So the total payloads will be 16. Start the attack, and let's see if I can see any sort of response. Now this is BurpSuite Community Edition, so it will be a little bit slow, but intruder of BurpSuite Professional will be extremely fast. So on 0, 1, 2, 3, I am having the same responses, so I can see nothing interesting is right here. So I will close this one, and now I will discard this attack as well, and I will come back here, and again I see another post parameter of going to basket, and there is a card number as well. So there is address ID again on this one. Let's send this request to repeater because sometimes it doesn't work on different sort of parameters. Now this time there is a card parameter, so let's try this one and send. And this time I got a 302 found, which is redirect URL. So if I click on follow redirection, let's see what happens. So render, and here we go. So this is the first IDOR which we were able to found, and that was using this one. So if I come back right here, the request was okay. So this one was having a card parameter. So when we enter a card number and then we change the address ID, we got successfully an IDO. So you can see now when I did 1 right here, and if I follow redirection, I can see the order details of some other user, and that is Mrs. Rita Miles, and we can see the address of that user as well. We can see the order number ID, and order number ID of this user is 5. So my order ID when I placed the order was 4. So this is the first IDOR which we were successfully able to find. So let's continue. So first of all, what I will do is I will see whether there is someone on address ID of 2. Follow redirection. And order number 6 again, and Mr. Jimmy Jones, and again we are having his address as well and some details, and this is order ID 6. Let's come back here, order address ID 3, and then I will do follow redirection. And right here I can see order number 7, and it says Mr. Jimmy Jones, 160 Broadway, New York. So again, this was vulnerable to IDOR, and we successfully exploited IDOR, and we can see some other user information. They can see their order ID, we can see their address as well. So let's continue inspecting our web application manually, and we can try to do a lot of things. So right here we can see when I was able to do order number 4, 1, 2, 3, I was not able to see, it was redirecting to orders page. But when I did right here in my burp suite, I was successfully able to see the information of other users. So let's come back to our proxy right here, and after the basket I can see account orders 4, account orders 3, 4 again, this one again. What we can do is, again, we can try to select this point here, we can send this request to intruder, and we can do a brute force attack right here, and we might see some potential information right here. But again, I believe that this endpoint was vulnerable to that address underscore ID parameter, and we can see the details of other users. Then I will see right here. Then in the end I was able to see the receipt generator, I think so. This didn't got intercepted. Let's refresh this one again, and yeah, now it just got intercepted. Let's see this one, and this one also seems not interesting, but the response is quite strange. It says missing post parameters. I believe this is very strange. Let's send this request to repeater. Send missing post parameters. So I believe this is a get request, so we need to change the request method. So I will right click right here into my BurpSuite, change the request method. Now this is a post request. Let's send this again, missing post parameters. So how do I get the parameters of this PDF generator form? So let's see the receive. Yes, there is an error message of missing post parameter. Let's refresh the page, or let me generate a receipt again, and it looks fine. So there is an order ID right here. I cannot see any parameter interesting. That is strange. What we can do is we can view the page source. Might be somewhere in page source there will be something. If I do control U right here, page source, and if I search for receipt, okay, so in the page source I can see that there are two hidden parameters, which are, first hidden parameter is what, and the other hidden parameter is ID. So I believe these two might be the hidden parameters. I don't know, but let's come back to our burp suite, and now I will say that what equals to, and what is the value of this one, order, and ID is equal to 4. So I will do what equals to order, and the other parameter was ID, so ID equals to 4. Will this work? Let's hit send, and here now we have the PDF. So I believe these were the two parameters, but I am having an ID parameter right here, so I can try to check for like IDOR vulnerability right here as well. So 4 3, what it gives us, I got this PDF again. I cannot see what it is, so let's show the response to in browser. So copy, open a new tab, paste it here, and it gives me an error message, I believe, on the PDF is order does not belong to this user underscore ID. So maybe user underscore ID is the complete parameter, I don't know. So if I change this to user underscore ID, hit send, missing post parameter. So I believe ID parameter is another parameter, so let's add another parameter called user ID. So I will do and user underscore ID, and let's do 3. So and send. Okay, send this to show response in browser, copy, paste right here. Order does not belong to this user ID, so my order number was 4, so let's try 4 in BurpSuite. So ID equals to 4 and user ID equals to 4. Send, show response in browser, copy, paste, and I can see my order now. So order ID of 4 and order ID. So let's try to see if we can have any other details. So if I do 5 and 5, yes, I got a PDF, show response in browser, copy, let's come back here, paste, hit enter, and order number 5, and right here you can see I am again having an IDOR vulnerability, and I can see the order details of some other user as well. So let's come back here, order number 6, send, show response in browser, copy and paste. I am having order number 6 right here as well, and this is again vulnerable to IDOR. Then I will do order number 7, or I can also do a brute force attack right here in my intruder. So I will see order number 7, and let's see how many order details. So Mr. Jimmy Jones and this one. So let's do a brute force attack real quick. So I will send this request to intruder, and this time I want to do a brute force attack on 2 parameters. So I will select 2 parameters right here, the ID and user ID, because I know that these two are the ones which are getting changed. So I will click on add right here on both of these, and I will change the attack type from sniper to cluster bomb, because when you are having 2 parameters to do a brute force attack, you need to select cluster bomb. So payloads, now you need to set the payloads for both of these. So I will simply select 0 to 10 numbers for both of these, because I'm using community edition, so it might take some time. So from 1 to 10, or let's do from 0 to 10, and step count of 1, payload number 2, again numbers from 0 to 10 and step count of 1, and let's start the attack. Now this will be a little bit slow, so let's see. Okay, so now my attack has been half completed. So if I click on length few times, so I will see the highest length which I can see right here. So the highest length is 27291. So if I see the response and show response in browser, so let's see what else we get here. So paste it right here, and we can see order number 7. Then I will close this one, and 60 is this one, 6123445. Then I can see 74, I can see until right here 25,000. So 4443, and there are a lot of things. So this one was also vulnerable to IDOR as well. So let's see another one. So 60 is same. Let's see this one. Or okay, so above this one, let's see this one, show response in browser, copy and hit enter, and order number 6. So I believe I'm having the details of all of those orders, so that's fine. Now this was it for manual inspection, and I believe, let me stop my intruder attack as well. So close this one, discard, and yeah, so this was all from the manual inspection. I can see all of the things are done right here. Now what I will do is I will try to show you how to use an BurpSuite extension called Autorize. I already have installed it. If you don't know how to install, you can simply go on extender right here, and in extender you need to go into options. First of all, you need to download Jython standalone 2.7.2.jar, which is the latest one right now. You can download it from Google, then you can select file from here, and then you can go to BA App Store, and you can come here, you can see Autorize, and you can install it right here, and it will come right here. So the interface of Autorize is like this, and for me it was very difficult in the beginning, and right now it has a lot of false positives as well. So I will try to explain to you as easy as possible. So now I will come right here, and let's come to the browser again, and let's close this one, and let's come back here. And now for using Autorize, first of all, we need to have two accounts. Why we need to have two accounts? Because one account will be the attacker account and the second account will be the victim account. So in the beginning, I created an account test@test.com. What we need to do now is to look for IDORs, is that we know that whenever we log in, we are assigned a cookie parameter. So when we are assigned a cookie parameter, what we can do is we can try to swap the cookies of user A with user B and try to see if we can access that page or not. So this is the whole idea. So now we cannot manually like swap the cookies in every request. So that's why for swapping of cookies with user A, like for example, if I want to swap a cookies of user A with user B, I will never ever do that manually because it will take me a lot of time. So for that purpose, I will use this Autorize extension, and what I will do is, you can see right here, I was having a cookie parameter right here. So I will copy all of this cookie parameter, Control C, I will come to Autorize, and in this blank space I will remove everything what is here, and I will Control V right here, and I will paste my cookie parameter. Then what I like to do is I like to make this Autorize as much neat and clean as I can. So for that I will say that, hey, please show me only those requests which are in scope. So for that purpose I will click on type right here, and from this list I will select scope items only, and I will click on add filter. Now you can see scope items only filter has been added right here, and that is all. Afterwards I will simply turn my Autorize on. Now my Autorize is set. Now I'll come back here and I will log out of this application because I have captured the cookies into Autorize of this account. Now I will create another account which will be the victim account, you can say. So I will go to register, and this time I will say test2@test.com. So test2@test.com, test 1 2 3 4 5 6, register, and now I am logged in as test number 2. So if I come back to my auto repeater, you can see, Autorize, you can see I am having a request right here. And now what it has done actually is that if I click on this request responses right here, you can see what it has done is that this one at the top is modified request, and what he has done is he has changed the cookies. So first of all, let's see original request. So in the original request, you can see this is the original request, and you can see the token parameter of test2 is starting from 0 0. But what Autorize has done for us is that Autorize has removed this all cookie and added the cookie of user number A, which was test only, and you can see right here, and it has pasted those cookies right here to see whether I can access this page or not. So if I see the response right here, it says 200 okay. If I see the original response, it says 200 okay, and if I see the unauthenticated response, it says 200 okay. Now the problem is, how do you identify that whether this is vulnerable to IDOR or not? Because you can see all of these requests are having 200 okay. So 200 okay in the modified, 200 okay in the original request, and 200 okay in the unauthenticated. Now the thing which I was able to understand was that if you are having the response in modified and original request same, and in unauthenticated request you are having something different, then there is IDOR vulnerability. But if all of them are same or all of them are not same, there is no IDOR vulnerability. So as easy as possible, because I know I was also having a lot of problems when I was trying to understand this IDOR vulnerability, especially Autorize, because Autorize is a very difficult tool you use. So the easiest way to find out that whether the website is vulnerable to IDOR, just see the response of modified and original request. If they are same and unauthenticated is not same, this there is an IDO. So now if I see this one, or let's first of all go here and manually inspect this website. So now what you need to do is you need to, as test 2 account, you need to click on every link onto this website. So I will click on every link now: order, returns, account, settings, everything. So let's do something random here, create a return. Then I will go to home page again, view, add to basket, and I will go to items now, add an address, and I will add test2, test2 again, and 1 2 3 4, and test2 right here as well, add address. And what I am doing actually is I'm just analyzing the website, or just visiting the website, clicking on every button, so that my Autorize must intercept everything. So Mr. Test2, make a payment 1 2 3 4, 1 2 3 4, 1 2 3 4, and 1 2 3 4. Make payment, and it looks fine for me. Order number 8, that's fine. So now let's come back to our request here, and now you can see there are 3 colors right here, and the ones which are having bypass are most likely to be vulnerable to IDOR, and the ones which are having enforced in green color, these are not vulnerable to IDOR. So but we can look for these ones. So you can see, if I see modified request, if I see the original request first, so the original request, the response is 302 found, modified response is 200. Okay, so something strange is right here, but again not be vulnerable. So these two are different. So unauthenticated response 200. Okay, so you can see unauthenticated and modified response are 200. Okay, but the original is 302, so not vulnerable, this one. So in this way you can figure out the vulnerable parameters and not vulnerable one. So let's click on this bypass one. Both of them are bypassed. Let's see, collapse right here. Let's see the original request. The response is 302 found, modified response 302 found, unauthenticated response 302 found. So might be possible that it will be vulnerable, but you can, now you need to see this request manually and see whether it is vulnerable. But if I am having unauthenticated same as original and modified, no, I don't think so it will be vulnerable. The only vulnerable will be that when you will see unauthenticated different and these two same. So right now I cannot see anything which is vulnerable right here until and unless I have did anything onto the request. So Autorize, I was not able to find any IDOR vulnerability using Autorize until now. The only vulnerabilities which I was able to find was due using manual inspection. But again, when you are hunting on Bugcrowd or HackerOne on any public program, I would highly recommend you that you should use Autorize, and you see whether, because it makes it a lot easier, and you can try to check every endpoint you can. So this is how we find IDOR vulnerability using Autorize and manual is inspection. So I think so this is it for this video, and let's come back to our TryHackMe answers right here. So it says an existing user has an address in New York. Find the first line of the address. So let's see who was in New York. It was Mr. Jimmy Jones in New York. So the first line of address is 160 Broadway. So I will copy it from here, paste it right here, submit, and it says order ID 3, date and time. So order ID 3. So I believe this will be on this one. So let's see whether we are having ID of 3. I don't think so. Send. You must be logged in to use this function. I am logged out. Let's see. Or if I am having order ID 3 somewhere right here, order 7, order 7 again, order 6, Mr. Jimmy Jones, this one, test. No, so I need to find out where is order 3. So let's find out real quickly. So again, what I will do is, I believe that will be on order page. So I will generate PDF receipt, order number 8 for test 2 account. Let's come back to our proxy. And I need to select this show only in scope items, otherwise it is showing me all garbage as well. So again, I cannot see that one, so let's refresh this one again. And now I got a request missing post parameters, so I will simply do what equals to, or send this request to repeater, go to repeater, and then I will change the request method again to post. I will say what equals to order and ID equals to 3 and user underscore ID equals to 3. So hit send. If I show response in browser, paste. Order does not belong to this user ID. That is strange. So shall I do URL encode this one? So control U, send. Missing parameters, no. So let's URL encode, control shift U. Let's URL encode these last parameters, send. I got a PDF, show response in browser. So paste, hit enter. And here we go. So order number 3 right here and Charles Cook. So this was very strange and I didn't notice this at all. So again, you can see URL encoding does work for us, and I am having the user order number 3 as well. So I believe in this way I will be having order number 1 and 2 as well. So if I URL encode this one and I do order number 2, now URL encode this parameter, send, show response in browser, copy, open a new tab, paste. And no, so I believe there was only order number 3 which I was successfully able to see, and the other ones no. So the question was, what is order ID 3, date and time? So order ID 3, we found it, and the very strange thing was that we need to URL encode. So that's why we need to try all of the techniques to see the IDOR vulnerability or any other vulnerability as well. So now I will come here, paste that date and time, submit, and this is the correct answer. So now we solved this IDO task as well, and we find out different techniques, then we find out authorize, and finally we find out some URL encoding as well. So that was it for today's video, and I will see you in the next video. Take care. Bye.